Greetings, everybody. Welcome to week number 14. Also, welcome to our asynchronous students as well that'll be watching this during the week. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving break, had a few extra days off, and you didn't have to see me or deal with this class for a few days. So that was probably a nice break. Let me turn this admit Harrison real quick. Welcome, Harrison. So let's get started today. I want to do similar to what we did 2 weeks ago. I want to continue on with our work that we've been doing here with ProPresenter. Lyrics and creating presentations and stuff is so much a part of what we do, especially in the online environment, generating lower third lyrics, things like that, slides, all those different things like that. And ProPresenter is such a great and helpful tool in doing that, including live streaming as well. So I wanted to spend a little bit more time today on that as well. But before we jump into that, just a way of review, what are the things that we've got going on, assignments, things like that. So let me just shoot through this real quickly and we'll make this happen. So let's look at Moodle together. Quick thumbs up, everybody seeing my Moodle page? All right, here we go. So this is week number 14. So this past week, you just turned in your web assignment 8, which was the case study looking at different churches. Some of you have already turned those in and I've graded those, so thank you. Go ahead and get those turned in. And also an encouragement for any missing assignments you have. Go ahead and get those done. I'll give you credit on those as well through the end of the semester. So assignments that you've got that are outstanding, go ahead and get those done and wrap up our semester together. For this week, we have web assignment number 9. I want to go back to that education tab in church production. And this time I want to look specifically at streaming and live streaming and things like that, which is something that we're doing more and more in this season. So go ahead, read one of those case study articles. One of the articles there, education about streaming, and just write a one-page evaluation on that article. Second assignment for this week is our last worship service evaluation. So just by way of review, the first one evaluation I had you do was a chapel. Of course, I gave you a lot of flexibility because there's a lot going on. And then we've done 2 worship service evaluations. So pick something else that you haven't done. If you haven't done a chapel one, go ahead and do a chapel one now. If you haven't done your own local church, go ahead and do your local church. If you've got another ministry out there, another connection, I gave you a link way back when, even to our church and the videos and stuff that I'm involved with in creating for our services. You can do that, but pick something different that you can evaluate and put to use the knowledge that you've acquired throughout this semester. So a final, we'll call it worship service evaluation number 2, but it's our 3rd evaluation of a service for the semester. Any questions on those 2 assignments? All good. I'm going to skip the Planning Center thing. I've done this in past years, done a quick overview of Planning Center, but I think you guys are so used to it. It's been out there for so many years. I'm not really going to spend any time dealing with that. I did want to show you real quickly a web service that we use as a church called Igniter. You're all seeing this okay? So this is a graphics, a visual graphics, a media library subscription service that we subscribe to as a church. There's a variety of different price points, everything from about $200 a year to up to like $500-600 for their top of their line stuff. But this is a great spot, and we use a ton at our church for ready-made lyrics. So I need something that says Merry Christmas. I need something that says baptisms. I need something that says baby dedications. I need something that says COVID-19, please wear your mask. Stuff like that that's pre-generated, pre-ready to go. Now, we do have a graphic arts designer on staff at our church, so it's easy for me to say, I need this, and can you create this and give a vision? But this is also a great tool for us as well. It also has tons of little short 30-second and 2-minute teaching videos and funny stuff like that. Another thing that's really cool about this service is that it's updating on a weekly basis. So I almost check it every week or every 2 weeks. Hey, what's a new cool backdrop I can use for this season? And they're even got some of their New Year's stuff has already been released. So if I'm planning ahead into January, I can look at some of that stuff. So let me just give you a quick tour here. variety of different collections and stuff like that. So themes that would all fit together. So for instance, they've got this one winter solstice. I actually gave you a few downloads on this here off our Moodle page. You'll get to see this. So you got some worship backdrops. You have some welcome slides. You've got some slides saying Merry Christmas and your offerings and communions and things like that. A God bless to send people out at the end of the service. So lots of those different things. They also have different categories. Let's just go to the worship backgrounds. So here's your gold storm. Here's the new ones that are ready for the new year already. Here's the winter solstice, which we looked at. All kinds of different stuff. There's tons of stuff in here that's obviously Christmas themed is the stuff that's coming to the very top right now. But let's go back a few here. Well, these are all Christmas themed yet here. Let's dig a little deeper. Like here's some fall stuff that we've used at our church for worship backdrops. And we go back, here's even some spring and summer. There's kid stuff in here. And of course you can search and go through the different ministries that upload to this service. So this has been something that's been really, really helpful for us. Again, it's called Igniter Media. It's a subscription service that people use. And some of those backdrops and stuff that I've already given you as resources and stuff I'll give you today are on there as well. Any questions? Any other churches using Igniter or other using other similar services that you found to be helpful? Let me just ask it this way. When you guys are needing to find background graphics and worship background, stuff like that, where are you typically going to find those things? Anyone? Don't everybody talk at the same time now, folks. Come on. Soraya, when you need to find worship backgrounds or stuff like that, where are you finding stuff?
I don't.
You don't? All right. What about Marco? Marco, Harrison, Caitlin?
I feel like my church uses this though because
Okay.
the type of, it looks similar to like what they already use. So.
And there are some other subscription services out there as well. Marco, Harrison, what are your churches, what are your ministries using?
Well, I mean, I don't like directly like download them. They're already like there. They're already downloaded. So I'm not sure what service my dad uses. They're usually just like if I create it, it's already accessible to me. So
Sure. Any idea what they're using on campus when you guys were doing normal chapels and things like that? Is that too long ago? We don't even remember.
a lot of moving backgrounds.
Yeah. Do you know where they were getting them from?
I have no clue.
Interesting. Marco, you have any idea? Caitlin? Nada. What are they using up in Palmdale, Marco, for your live streams and your outdoor services and stuff?
I'm not sure exactly. I haven't specifically like looked into what server is exactly being used.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. There are some others. There's some free stuff that you can find as well out there. Obviously, the internet's available. So, but this again is, and I don't get an endorsement on this or anything like that. It's just something I found very, very useful, and I want to pass on to you guys too. So that is Igniter. If you want to ever get back to that link, it's there on our Moodle site. If you would, if you're close to your computer, if you would go ahead and click on this ProPresenter resources, and you could go ahead and download that folder. I'll get into that in just a second, but we'll let that work. And then the last place here is when we're all done today, you can upload, if you want me to see these, your visual presentations, and I can give you some feedback on those as well too. So any questions on our Moodle site? Go ahead, Marco.
Edwin's in the waiting room.
Oh, great. Let me grab him here. That little window disappeared on me real quick. Sorry. There we go. Edwin, are you there? Maybe he changed his mind. Well, that's all right. We'll keep moving forward here. So while you're on the Moodle site there, go ahead and download the resources, and that'll give us some stuff that we'll work on today. So in class today, my plan is that we're going to edit 2 songs. We're going to edit a sermon message. And then I also included a responsive reading. So this might be something like a worship leader reads a line, the audience responds type of thing. So I included those 4 in there. I've also included some backdrops as well that we can look at. And bring you back to here, and then we'll share here in just a second. So my goal for our class today is to work together like we did a couple weeks ago. Again, work on 2 songs. So go ahead and get them copied and pasted, whatever effort gets you into ProPresenter. Do the mapping, do the giving labels and stuff like that. So if it's a verse, call it a verse, chorus, stuff like that. And then you can even create your own maps and stuff if you want to. I'll demo real quick what I've been working on to show you kind of what your finished product should look like here. A responsive reading, and then there's also a set of sermon notes that are in there labeled digital discipleship or Advent discipleship, I believe it may be called. So that is there. Let's switch over and share our ProPresenter. I hope y'all get a chance to get outside today. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, or is a beautiful day. Get a little bit of sunshine, even if they're telling us to stay home right now and be safe. All right, everybody seeing my desktop here? So you're able to see ProPresenter? Awesome. Okay, so here's a few things that you're going to want to do. First of all, you're going to want to create a new playlist. Of course, we've done this before, so this is all by way of review. But if you go to the bottom left corner, you'll see here new playlist, which I already did. And I just called it Worship Tech in Class. And then I created 4 different songs. I Give Thanks, Who You Say I Am, Here's the Responsive Reading, and Digital Discipleship. Now, I had all of those in the download folder. Actually, no, it was right here, sorry. So you can copy and paste and bring those over. Any number of different ways to do that. I've showed you before, I really like to work in reflow, where I just copy and paste and bring things over that way. You can do that. There's other ways. You could use edit instead to get that done. So I also brought in some backdrops for you to do so that you can use these as well. So for instance, on my first song, I Give Thanks, I've got it all formatted. Notice I've got my labels here. So I've got verse 1 and verse 2. If I click on this little 1 to 3 box here, here's my master slides, all the slides that are available. And then here's my unique arrangement or map, you might say, of the songs. I still got to do a little bit more on verse 4. Don't like how that's sitting. 5 and 6, I'll keep working on that while you guys are doing this. I got another song here. Here's another backdrop. Notice backdrops always have this green and blue logo here as opposed to the straight blue logo. So they transition nice and smooth as you see between this one and this one. Again, here's my second song, Who You Say I Am, the Hillsong, which you guys are all familiar with. I got a little more formatting to do probably on this one, pulling all together, but I've got my labels. So verse, chorus, verse 2, chorus 2. And again, by doing that, I can just click on here and add group label. And I've got a whole bunch of them here. Your list is probably not going to be quite as expansive, but you can add new labels if you go to the bottom on the other, and that's how you can keep them and color code them and stuff as you need to. So that's all there. Questions? Am I moving too fast? This is all review. The third one is the responsive reading. So I'm still kind of working on this one here. So basically in this type of scenario, the worship leader would say, praise the Lord. And then everybody in the congregation would say, I will thank God with my heart as I meet with my godly, with his godly people. Boy, my reading is off today. I'm trying to figure out ways that maybe I can make it a little more distinct and very clear, like now is the leader, now is the congregation. So I'm going to fool around a little bit with this, but you can be creative and try to come up with ways to differentiate between when is the leader speaking and when is the congregation speaking, and visually make it so it's really, really simple for them to follow. And then the final thing, this is my sermon notes. So I've got a collection of verses like Acts and Philippians, and I've got some points that are in here. Now, our pastor didn't do these as fill in the blanks, but remember how you do a fill in the blank if you wanted to using the edit window? You go over here and you use your text reveal tool, and I could add underlines if I want to, but in this situation, our pastor didn't use that, so I didn't have to do those. And scriptures, I differentiated between the fonts and stuff that I use for my scriptures as opposed to my points. So I used an italics, and I put the scripture reference in the bottom right, as opposed to the points that are just purely no italics and they're centered. I put spaces in between each of them, so the lyric operator or whoever's operating this can go to the next slide, but also have spaces for the gaps when something's not on the screen. I'm not convinced on this backdrop because it seems like it kind of flies into the scripture at the same time, so I may change out the backdrop and try some other things. One other little technique that I like to use is you'll notice that I put the scripture reference at the same spot on every line. That way that scripture reference always stays on the screen while the verses are being read. So if somebody's trying to catch up and trying to find the hard copy version of it, they can get to it relatively quickly because they can still see the reference. You may find a different format that works better for you. This is just something that I've used as well. So yeah, again, 2 songs, I give thanks, full mapping, all labeled, a responsive reading, and digital discipleship, so just a sermon notes. Do you guys think you could create all 4 of those things? Caitlin's saying no. Marco, what do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down? All right, well, we'll take the time to work on this. Harrison, what do you think? All right. Well, one of the things I found with ProPresenter is it's got a little bit of a learning curve. So here's the 3rd time, at least in this class, that you've had a chance to look at this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay here. You've got the download. So just hands raised. Everybody was able to access the download files. So you've got those. Sarai, did you get those okay? Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. You're still muted.
No, you're good. I was
All right.
saying, yeah, I could download them. It's just I don't have ProPresenter from my laptop from last time.
Gotcha. And you're not close to another computer?
No.
Okay.
And I tried in Studio B, but like I said, it was like you had to pay for it or something.
No luck on that. Okay. Is there another computer on campus that you could use during the week to work on these?
I know the library, I think, if I schedule, I don't know if the computers are available, but I
Is
can
Dr.
ask.
Felix on campus at all with you guys at all, or do you see him at all?
Oh yeah, sometimes he
Okay.
comes on
Yeah,
campus.
maybe double check with him and maybe he can let you onto the computer in the chapel or something if they're not using it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and do that. You guys work on your 4 songs, or your 2 songs, sorry, I'll unshare my screen. So work on 2 songs, 1 responsive reading, and 1 sermon note. So those 4. The last thing I need to show you real quickly here, y'all remember how to share a playlist once it's done. Anybody? So when you get done with your playlist, if you right click on it, export playlist, make sure that you always check this box, include media and presentation. That means the backdrops and any videos and stuff that you had included, that those will get transferred back out. And I don't know if you can see it, but now that file has showed up on my desktop, and then I could take that to any other location. I could pass it on to you guys and so you could look at it and stuff as well. In fact, I will take this file and I will upload it to Moodle on week 14 so you can see it. If you want to download, you could access my file as well on that. Sound good? All right, so I'm right here. You guys go ahead and work on those 4 things. I'll check in with you periodically as we go along. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll go together through this as kind of a workshop. Any questions? All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Sorry, what week is this under?
Week number 14. And if you want to, you could go to week 14 now on Moodle, and I just uploaded that file. It's just called ProPresenter Brad's Example. If you want to access that, you could see exactly what I did, and you could see that it's in process. Obviously, any changes I make now would not be included, but you can see what I've done so far if you want to copy that and use that as an example for your work. And to import that into your ProPresenter, so wherever the file, you can just click and drag it right into the library or into the playlist, and it'll show up right there as a secondary playlist or as a new playlist automatically.
Professor Brad?
Yeah, go for it.
So I forgot, how do you split like the verse and chorus into different slides?
So what I've done is gone to the spot that's the new location. Are you on the reflow menu? So just put your cursor on that spot. You can kind of see what I'm doing right now. So I'm putting one right on beaming, right? On the word beaming. And if you hit Option Return, it'll create a new slide. Option Return. That work for you?
Yeah.
Is anybody going to join me in the battle against commas? I'm always getting rid of my commas. Caitlin's like, no, I want to add commas. I've got a couple lyric volunteers at church that will go behind me and add them back in. Like, don't do that. So it's all right. You got to give space for people to be creative. So here's an opinion question. There's not a right or wrong answer on this, but notice on this song that I've got here, I'm on I Give Thanks. It's got a vamp that just keeps singing I give thanks, I give thanks, I give thanks, I give thanks. Do you guys prefer it when you write the words the exact number of times people sing it? Or is it better to do it just once and let people kind of just sing it along? Thoughts?
I mean,
Harrison, what do you think?
I know sometimes they'll like write it the amount of times, or they'll do like I give thanks like and then put like 3 times or something like that.
Yeah, I like that even. I like that even less. Like when it's or it
Yeah,
says like repeat. Like I don't know.
yeah, it's kind of weird to see it. I like it listed or just the single. I think either is fine. But if it's like 12,
Sure.
definitely wouldn't list them.
So yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's a rule of like 2. Like if it's only 2 times, you list it twice. But like this one, I give thanks. I could see where I would just split that up into 2 and maybe put 2 slides in a row or something. Marco, what do you think? What do you prefer? When a line is repeated over and over and over, do you like to see it listed that way or just written one time?
I prefer it one time.
Okay, like it. Edwin, what do you think?
I think just one time is the best.
Just gets too redundant when you keep listing it over and over. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Other questions? Everybody tracking along? It's at least able to copy and paste content into ProPresenter? I recognize that the first song, I Give Thanks, is probably not familiar to any of you. It's a song that was written by one of our worship leaders. It's one but I liked it because it's got lots of verses. Everything is labeled though, so it'll be easy to figure out. And of course, Who You Say I Am is something that you probably have sung dozens of times by now.
Professor Brad,
Yeah, go for it.
how do you put the background again? Like the video background with the lyrics?
So you could drag the file just directly in. I'm also using the video image folder here on the bottom. Notice if I click at the top, it'll open up. And they're all in here. And then all you do is you just click it and you drag it onto that location. Still trying to decide what's the best way to do the responsive reading to differentiate between the parts that the leader is reading and the sections where the congregation is reading. Do you guys ever do responsive readings in your church? Anybody? Anybody?
Only like sometimes the pastor will ask like, let's all read this together.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's like responsive, but more of like congregational reading.
Yeah. I don't know that either. So here's what I'm going to try for my responsive reading. So I've got the leader doing, I put it up in the top left corner and I italicized it. And this is the congregation, leader, congregation, flipping it back and forth. But I'd be curious to hear what other ideas and stuff that you guys got when you start working on yours there. Another cool thing about Igniter is that a lot of these motion backdrops that they've got, I just downloaded the motion versions for you guys. They have still versions as well. So if you don't want the motion, they've got the exact same slide, but in a still as opposed to the motion. All right, how we doing? What are we seeing? What are the questions that we're coming up against?
I'm still struggling with the background because it won't do it for me.
Can't
I know I
just
did
click
it
and
last
drag it
time.
in?
No, that's what I did last time, and I'm pretty sure I did that last time, but yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe just let it go for right now. Work on formatting lyrics, getting things pulled together. A couple things that'll help you on the formatting lyrics. Of course, don't forget you've got this formatting tool, which is at the top. And so you can format a bunch of things really, really fast that way, especially if you want a bunch of things to be the exact same. The other thing that's really helpful is you've got these templates. So you got your defaults, but you also have different ones that you can build, custom ones. Like if you're into the rectangle thing at your church, so you can use the rectangle download version of them. And you can download and use like all those presets that they've got, which is huge. You can also, which is cool, if you right click on a slide and go to template, you can save your selected slide as a template, or you can add it to a group. So like you get one right, you save it, name it on a template, and then you could go back and you could put it on different ones. So I've got a whole bunch of different these that I've used for different services, different formats. So if I want to format some stuff relatively quickly, I can use some of these presets. So that's something you can do to save some time. All right, who's got one song copied, pasted into a file, got it labeled, basically started? Caitlin's leading the pack. Edwin, how you doing?
I'm struggling,
Okay.
if I can be honest. I
What-
just don't really know how to use ProPresenter.
Sure. What are you able to get done? Are you able to open a new file?
Yeah, I opened a new file. I'm copying the song,
Excellent.
but I just don't know how to add like backgrounds to it.
Okay. Well, maybe we just add that as a design part. Just keep working on the stuff that you know how to do. You can definitely do the copy and pasting. So you
Okay.
can get those songs in. Don't worry so much about the backdrops. People won't complain too much if it's just black and white.
All right. Sounds good.
We've been trying to add, we do an outdoor service at a local high school on Saturday afternoons at 4 o'clock. But sunset is until 4:45, so we haven't been able to use videos or lyrics or anything like that. So that's been a challenge for us. We do some later services. We used to do a 6 o'clock service, but it got too cold, and so people were complaining. So it's like you either get lyrics or you get heat and sunlight. So your choice. Soraya looks like she's in the dark, so I think she prefers the dark as opposed to daylight.
I just, for this class, just how long, it is, the light. Like, I have my blue light glasses, but because they're not prescribed, like I put them over my glasses, it gets annoying.
No, I
So I
understand.
just try to make sure I minimize my light intake as much as possible.
I've talked about my college son who's in New York. He's same thing. He says his eyes get so tired. He wanted us to buy him some light blocking curtains and stuff in his room to make it darker and stuff. So I think he ordered those on Amazon the other day.
Nice.
Harrison, you able to get a song going there?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Awesome.
I have it open and I'm editing one of the songs, but my computer's kind of freaking out. I'm trying to figure out why.
Okay. Obviously, in an ideal scenario, we'd all be in a central room with everybody in the same computers and all that fun stuff and a computer lab, but we'll work our way through this. Soraya, do you have maybe have PowerPoint or something like that available to you?
Yeah, I have PowerPoint.
That'd be another way to do it. You know, that's kind of old school. But if you use PowerPoint, you could create the same, you could do the slides and stuff like that, get some practice using PowerPoint.
Okay. Let me try and get that up.
Just trying to be creative and make sure we got ways that you can continue to stay engaged and involved here.
Yeah. Is there another version of like ProPresenter that can be like downloadable for my laptop?
The latest version is ProPresenter 7. Again, I've told you this, I'm on ProPresenter 6. I think those are probably the ones that you can download. I don't know if you can download ProPresenter 5 anymore. I've never used 5. I got in on 6 when 6 was new, and so that's what I've stuck with. But there are still churches that are using PowerPoint for sure, so that would be a good opportunity to practice on that.
Yeah, I know for Studio B, how I said like there's only the trial that it lets me do.
Yeah,
like
which
is everyone
the demo is fine. That's what everybody else is using as well.
okay.
It always has that little watermark on it.
Is there a time length that it allows you to like stop using the
I-
demo, or is it?
I don't think so. I've encouraged even some of my volunteers and stuff to download it for practice at home. And none of them have ever told me that it's an issue. as far as, running out. I can send them stuff and they can practice on lyrics during the week when I've got stuff prepped ahead of time.
Yeah. Maybe I could go back in Studio B this week or next week and then do that. But I have PowerPoint pulled up. So do I just
Yeah, so just go ahead and create a new PowerPoint presentation,
Uh-huh.
just like you would do that. And you could include those 2 songs, the set of sermon notes, and then also the responsive reading. On those sermon notes, just highlight or do the highlight sections and add those into your PowerPoint. Apple people could also use Pages for those that like to use Pages.
Are we just dividing the sermon into how we want it?
So all the highlighted sections, I think there's 4 or 5 scripture passages and there's 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all highlighted in the notes. I don't think there's any highlights on page 1, but highlight the other ones. Just put them all on a separate page. So there's the Acts 27 section, 33 to 36. This particular pastor on our staff likes to identify what scripture version he's using. He's the young, hip, cool one. So he's, what is CSB? Anybody remember? Coleman Study Bible, is that what it is? Oh, sorry, Christian Standard Bible, that's what it is. And then the 4 points, God's provision, the relationship, the work, and the work.
So the only thing I add onto the slides is the highlighted parts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then probably put blank slides in between them. At least I would do it that way. Because the pastor oftentimes will preach and do other stuff, and it would be a distraction if people had the same stuff on the screen. Did anybody download the ProPresenter example that I created for you and uploaded to Moodle? Nobody? All right, that's fine. You can do that later. Or asynchronous students, you could download that as well for examples. I think one of the beauties of working with ProPresenter, working with lyrics and stuff as well, there's kind of like it looks good on the screen, right? And there's lots of ways to get to that spot. What I think looks good and what you think looks good could be different. You've got better eyes, so you might like things a little smaller. Can I answer any questions? Marco, how's the copy and pasting and the lyrics all coming together? Any luck adding those graphics?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I've always found that if you can drop things in the video image bin and then just drag them into Spot, they'll work. But you can also just click and drag them directly from the desktop as well, and they'll go into your media library as well. Edwin, is it getting any better there? Are we able to copy and paste things?
Yeah, I'm copying and pasting the song.
Sorry.
It's the entire song, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting that.
Caitlin, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Just
Excellent.
it's definitely overloading my computer, so my mouse is moving 2 miles an hour.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, ProPresenter can be a little bit of a media hog. Having more RAM and stuff is helpful. Saw the email this morning, Caitlin, that athletics are back on for the spring. You guys able to train in pods and stuff?
Yes, so we're separated. We started practice today,
Okay.
actually.
On
Um,
campus?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're pods, like separated based off of high risk people and then everyone else. And we like got tested on our mile time yesterday and started practice today, and it just feels awesome to be back.
Awesome. That's great. Great to hear. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Any other student athletes in the class? Anybody else? Basketball, wrestling? Anything else you want me to demonstrate as you're working along here? Hey, could you remind me how to do that again? Any questions?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
My live button is like grayed out. Is that because I'm not hooked up to any output, or
To which button is grayed out again?
the live button? Like I can't go live.
Oh, oh, for the like if you wanted to run your camera, your background camera.
Um, hmm. So is that different than like presenting?
Well, the main output for the whole system, if you're seeing my screen here, is up here on the right corner. It's this off and on button. It doesn't change anything on my primary screen, but on my secondary screen, it makes whatever is live, it makes it go live type of thing. There is also this live button here, which is in the middle, is where I've set it up here. And what that will do is that'll activate my camera.
Okay. Okay.
And so, yeah, so now you're seeing me with lyrics over the top of me. Do you see that?
Hmm. Is that what because some churches they do like
Like
if you're
iMag?
live streaming
Mhm.
for worship, you'll have the word like the lyrics at the bottom of the screen and
Right,
like go
yeah. So
live with the band.
yeah, so you could do something like this. Let's do a lower third lyric. So it looks like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Thank you.
of course. Other questions? How we doing here? Copy paste, copy paste. How many were able to get 2 songs done? Anybody? How would anybody work on the sermon notes? Anybody able to do similar? Good. Marco, how'd those go?
It's going good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was able to get the background finally.
Excellent. 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 Another opinion on this, on Bible references. Do you like to see the reference on every slide, or maybe on just the first and last? Maybe just the last, just the first? Any thoughts, preferences?
At least as far as like someone as an audience member, I like every slide, because if I look up for a second, or I look away and I like forget what he said, like what verse it was, but I'm like listening to his words, then, or his or her words, then I want to be able to like know what scripture it was.
Right. Right. Does anybody prefer just seeing it on like a first or a last slide, or both? Yeah, as you can see, what I do oftentimes is I put it on every slide and I position it in the same spot so it doesn't move. Other thoughts, feelings, personalities, opinions?
Is the responsive reading supposed to be at the end or in between the songs?
It's no order. I didn't give you a specific order.
Oh, okay.
I suppose if we wanted to get really fancy about this, we could create a planning center for it, and people could upload what the order of service is going to be, and we could make it all fit together and do that. But for our purposes here, you know how you can move things around, you know how you can create a playlist, documents, stuff like that, so it should make it relatively easy for you. What else y'all got going on today or the rest of this week? Anybody got some plans?
Worship practice and
Worship practice.
a bunch of homework.
Yeah. Anybody got a favorite Christmas movie? We've already watched Home Alone once here at our house.
Grinch.
Grinch. I'm feeling Buddy the Elf has got to be here in the next couple of days around here somewhere. We got to watch Elf.
I just saw what is it, A Christmas Carol?
Mm-hmm.
With Jim Carrey. I forgot how, as a kid, that movie made me so uncomfortable. And it still does to this day.
For what reason? What makes you uncomfortable?
I don't know. I just always found Scrooge super creepy, especially like how animated he is.
So you're talking about the live action version of the Grinch one that he did. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
No.
Christmas Carol. He voiceovered Scrooge.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It looks like the movie looks like animated clay,
Okay.
like CG'd clay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever actually watched the whole thing on that one.
Yeah, same. And I did. And I was like, this is weird.
Well, it gets really dark really fast.
Kaylin, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
That's hard to decide.
Any favorites? Top three? What's that?
Maybe Home Alone.
That is a good one. Of course, my wife was upset at me. We started watching it on Sunday night, and we watched it right up to the spot where the burglars, Kevin's ready to defend the house, and she's like, "I'm too tired. I gotta go to bed. I gotta work early in the morning." And I thought, like, about Wednesday, like, we're not gonna watch the end of it. So I watched it all by myself, and I hadn't been done about 15 minutes. She's like, "Hey, I think we should watch the end of that Home Alone." And I was like, I just watched it. So I offered doing Home Alone 2. We could start again on Home Alone 2, but she was upset at me. So good-natured. Soraya, what's your Christmas go-to movie?
I actually don't have one. I kind of just like movies in general, but I don't really have a favorite.
Anybody going to vote for the Hallmark collection? Hallmark movies? My son was showing me a graphic this morning where somebody on Twitter had taken all of the posters, the promo posters for the Hallmark movies, and superimposed them. And it basically looks like the same poster over and over and over. You got a red character and a green character kind of in the middle of the thing. It was pretty funny. So my wife has never gotten into the Hallmark movies, but my mother-in-law is a huge fan. So I hear about all of them. Marco, what's your favorite? What's the one you got to see every Christmas? Christmas doesn't start till the Rodriguez family watches.
It's mostly Home Alone. That's
Okay.
what I walk into, and then I don't really
Which
have
is
a
interesting to
favorite
me.
Christmas.
Like, that movie is so old. Like, it's so much older than you guys are.
I know.
But it's so good.
I like the second one the most.
How did it connect so much to your generation? Because you guys were, I mean, it's like at least 10 years before any of you were born.
I know for me, they played it a lot in like the Spanish channels, and when we were bored and had nothing to watch, that was like what we
That
would
was-
watch.
That's a fact.
I think it's the concept, because like parents know like, oh, it's like super fun, and like, hey, you're a kid, you could probably relate or something.
Sure.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Another good movie, another great movie, is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Anakin
So good.
Skywalker's in it too, right? Little Annie?
Yeah.
Right.
It's so good.
And everybody is looking. There's like an action hero or something, right? A little action hero toy, and there's only a limited amount, and everybody's fighting for one. What was the name of the action hero?
I think it was like Robo Man or something. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah, my boys remember that because that's the one that has young Anakin Skywalker in it. But what was that? Oh, Jake Lloyd, right? Isn't that his name? The two things that he's known for is that movie and then The Phantom Menace. And as I recall, he went off the rails after that.
Oh, it's Turbo Man.
Turbo
Man.
Turbo Man. That's good. That's good. All right, I'm looking at the clock. It's about 2:30, so I don't want you guys to get too frustrated with ProPresenter. I always think it helps to kind of take it in short bites, work with it a little bit. Marco, do you have a question there for me?
Yeah. Do
Go
we
for it.
have to do the other song as well? Because I have the song and the sermon. We have to do the
Well,
song and the other one?
again, this is a lab, and so we're trying to do as much as we can. I know some of you guys are overachievers, so you'll get to all four, and others are still fighting on other stuff. So I tried to do this as a scenario like nobody's going to feel too frustrated or too encouraged or too overachieving. So as we work together, but yeah, do as much as you can. So, all right. So time out. Let's just talk real quickly about assignments, what I want you to do, expectations, and then I'm going to let you go for the day. If you do have any more questions, you're always free to email me, text me. For those that have in the past, I hope you find that I'm easy to get a hold of. So the two assignments for this week, and this is all on Moodle. First of all, first one is, let me come back here, is to do the web assignment number 9. This is Church Production Magazine, Education tab, and we're doing the streaming article this time. So maybe you can learn a little about streaming. Second is a worship service evaluation. This is our last evaluation of the semester. So pick a chapel, pick a church that you attend, pick a church that you're interested in, pick a random church that's out there somewhere, and evaluate their service based on the criteria and stuff that we talked about. The third thing, and this is a casual assignment, we'll call it that, is to continue to work in ProPresenter or PowerPoint or Media Shout or Easy Worship, whatever your favorite label is. Of course, I've been using mostly ProPresenter here with you guys. But take those 2 songs, the sermon notes, and then also that responsive reading. When you're done, if you want to export that playlist, which I showed you how to do, and you want to upload that to Moodle, I would be more than happy to look at that and give some feedback and stuff on that as well. There is a folder on there on Moodle week 14. It says upload visual presentation in class. If you want to do that, you're welcome to do that. It's optional. It's not graded. It's an in-class assignment that we did working together here. And then if you want to download my example, what I was working on, most of it is there. There's a few additions that I added, but you can see that on week 14 as well. Any questions? Are you clear at what is required and what is not required? All makes sense? Okay. Go ahead, Harrison.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about like what the end of the semester is
Yeah.
looking like.
Yeah.
As far as like, do we have a final exam or a
There
project?
will not be a final exam and there will not be a final project. It's hard for me to test you guys on ProPresenter or your knowledge of. It was easy. I find audio is kind of easy to do some testing, but when it gets to video and lighting and like what's the DMX address for a green light at 300, I mean, stuff like that. How do you test that stuff? So there is no final project. There is no final exam. In fact, our last class, I think, is going to be next Thursday. So we'll meet next Thursday, 1:30, just like we did here. We'll do a review wrap-up class, have a chance to go back and look at some of the things we did during the semester. But that will be our last experience next Thursday. I know, tears. And I will accept any late assignments through 2 weeks from today, so the 17th on that Thursday. So if there's an assignment that you haven't had a chance to do and you're struggling to get done, you'll be able to get that done in the next couple of weeks. Do you have a lot of final exams? A lot of projects due?
Projects everywhere.
Projects everywhere, okay. Understand. Well, we'll continue to fight through the rest of the semester. We've finished the last couple of weeks here, so. All right, everybody. It was so great to be with you all. Smiles everywhere. We'll get through this, just our last couple of weeks. Thanks again so much for getting your assignments turned in and encouragement to you to push through as we finish out this semester. Be excellent to each other. Be excellent to yourself. Make sure you get plenty of rest. Eat well.
Be excellent.
San Dimas High School football rules, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two movies I'm waiting for, right? We got to get the next Bill and Ted and then the Top Gun, the next Top Gun movie when that comes out.
I want John Wick 4, so Keanu needs to decide.
He's got to choose one or the other. All right. All right, everybody. Happy December 3rd. I'll talk to you all again next week. Take care. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right.